All right, what is up everybody? Scott Brio back again with another tutorial. Today I want to share with you how to make DJ mixes in Ableton. Now, you might be asking yourself, I have decks and a mixer. Why would I want to make a DJ mix in Ableton? Well, if you have decks, that's amazing, but some people don't have decks. And maybe they just practice at a friend's house. Maybe they're just a really good DJ and they just show up at the club and play, you never know. But decks can be expensive, right? And sometimes you want to just crank out a mix and send it across. Sometimes you might have a really tricky mix. Maybe you've already tried it 2 times on your decks and you keep messing up. Sometimes doing it in Ableton Live is just easier and faster. Or I should say doing it in your DAW, but today I'm going to show you how to do it in Ableton Live, which is, my DAW of choice. Additionally, it's just kind of a good thing to know how to do. Or maybe you find yourself on the road, you're traveling or you're a touring DJ and you don't have decks with you and you need to get a mix out quick. Well, this is a great way to do it. So what I'm gonna do is I've got, rather than do like a whole 50-minute long mix or 60-minute long mix, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use 2 tracks that I've made for this tutorial. One is a house track and the other is a drum and bass track. Now, why did I choose those 2 genres? Well, the process of doing this is fairly straightforward. And if you can do it with, if you're making a house mix and maybe you go from 120 to 128 or back and forth, that's all well and good. And you can use this process for making your whole house mix. But sometimes you might want to do a mix that goes from house to dubstep or techno or drum and bass or maybe hip hop. So what I did is I kind of chose 2 polar opposites, right? So this house track is 127 and the drum and bass track is 174. I'm showing you the extreme example here, how to do it, and then you can just apply it to every song that you add to your mix, and it's all pretty straightforward. So I've got a DJ channel mixer effect that I've made in Ableton Live. It's got 3-band EQ, it has reverb and delay. It also has a special DJ filter that XFer Records made that emulates the Pioneer DJM 900 Nexus 2, whatever mixer. And so it's a really cool plugin. It's really small, it's really light, and everything is mapped to macros in the audio device in Ableton. So you can kind of easily use this thing. You can slap it on every channel. It's nice and light, and you can use it to EQ, filter, add effects in between your channels. And it really sounds pretty convincingly like a DJ mixer. That is on my website for free download. You will have to make sure that you download XFer's Pioneer DJM 900 filter VST as well, but that's also free. So I'll link to that in the description below, as well as my custom made DJ channel effect. Before we get started, I want to remind you to give me a like and a subscribe here. It really helps show me that you appreciate what I'm doing and that you're liking the content. Every like and subscribe goes a long way and is greatly appreciated. I'm also going to show you how to record your voice and add some ducking and mixing so that you can add like a vocal intro if you want. Those are kind of nice sometimes. Making the vocals sit over the music and ducking the music out of the way to make it sound really nice and professional. So anyway, swinging over to Ableton Live. We've got just a very basic session here. I just have 2 tracks made and 1 for the microphone. The cool thing about doing a DJ mix in Ableton is you can actually drag tracks directly from Rekordbox right into your Ableton session, which is super, super handy. It just makes things really easy. To get started here, you can drag all your tracks in or you can do it one at a time. Doesn't really matter. I'm gonna go ahead and name these. So to get started, basically what you're gonna wanna do is you're going to want to make sure that your BPM is in the right BPM of the first song that you're starting with. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to 127. Looks like it's doing some warping stuff. No, warp is off, so that's good. Make sure warp is off on both your tracks to begin with, or all of your tracks to begin with. You want to do this because basically when you change the BPM and warp is on, Ableton is going to try to warp your song to that BPM and it gets kind of wonky. So it's best to turn warp off on your song file, your audio clip there, then change the BPM, and then you select your track here and you want to hit warp. Now the session is 127 and this song is also going to be at 127. And you can see Ableton did a pretty good job of being right on the beat here. It's a little bit behind, but that's the point of this tutorial. So I'm going to show you, how to warp it. It's really pretty easy. There's more in-depth warp tutorials on Ableton. I might make one in the future, but for now we're just going to go over, the basics and how I use it to make a DJ mix. So what I do is I'll basically just come up here a couple bars and just drag. And if you hold and drag and don't create a warp marker, what that does is Ableton has basically taken all of the transients that it's found and it's shifted the whole audio clip to fall on the beat grid that you just told it to. And so now by doing that, you can see that if you go further back in the song, the transients are falling much more on where they should be. So now I'm at the end of the song here, and what I'll do is I will create a beat marker and just drop it on one of these transients, and I just kind of wiggle it right here because it's pretty close, but you want to make sure that it is, bang on the grid there. So let's see if I can zoom in and find it. Where is it? Okay, there we go. And yeah, you can see end of the song here is pretty much on the grid. So that's good enough for me. And if you listen to it, cool. So we're right on the grid. One thing I like to do too is I'll just take each track down by maybe 2 decibels. And we're gonna add a limiter to this whole mix anyway, and just do a really light bit of limiting at the end so that we can ensure that everything is kind of the same loudness. You don't want to squash it too much because songs are already very kind of hyper limited, especially EDM tracks and dance music stuff. So you want to make sure to not squash it too much, but we want to make sure that we kind of push everything up to the right kind of audible level so that nothing is quieter than other loud songs. So cool. What we've got now is we have our first track gridded to the beat. Now what we want to do is we want to make this transition to this drum and bass song here. But this drum and bass song is 174. However, we have already clicked on warp and warped our track and locked it into place with our beat grid, which is great. So now what we can do is we can just change Ableton's BPM to 174 and hit OK. Now the house track is going to be playing way too fast, but that's okay because it's just temporary. So you can drag this to a little bit closer to the song, and this drum and bass track that we've got here is actually pretty on point already. But we still want to hit warp. We still want to make sure, because you're going to be doing a lot of automation of the BPM in Ableton. And so by warping each one, what you're ensuring is that you're locking it to Ableton's grid. And then once you add the BPM automation in the master channel, Ableton will do it all seamlessly, everything will stay locked together, and it'll be really nice and seamless. So we've got the BPM changed to 174, and we clicked warp, and now we can just find a nice transient somewhere here in this drum and bass song. I like to find nice sharp ones, like this one's good here, this one's good here, or this one here. And again, I'm just gonna not double click it, but just drag it, kind of wiggle it around, and it kind of locks into place. And now you can go back to the end of your track and find another transient, and you can wiggle that and kind of lock that into place. And that second warp marker really locks things into place so that Ableton knows the entire way through the song it's where it should be and it won't go anywhere. Now what we have is we're looking zoomed out at our 2 tracks here. Generally speaking, songs have an intro and outro. Sometimes house tracks, techno tracks, there's more of a kick and a DJ friendly intro with just a kick and maybe some hats and a snare. Drum and bass varies a little bit. Drum and bass a lot of times will come in with just hats and maybe some instruments and a sample, or maybe just a sample, and it'll filter in. But the drums in drum and bass a lot of times don't kick in right away, whereas house is kind of the opposite. Neither good nor bad, they're just different. You can see here in this house track, it kind of it drops to just the bare elements of the beat. Oh, and it's playing really fast because we're at 174. So why don't we do this? Let's open our master channel, make it nice and big here. What you want to do is we can set the session back to 127, and now our house track is going to play the way it should. Cool. And now what we're going to do is we're going to turn on automation. I just hit A. I want to make sure that your little keyboard icon isn't turned on, otherwise you'll be playing MIDI. So you hit A and bring up your automation windows. Right around here where we're gonna start the transition. Let's see, where should we start it? I guess, yeah, you know, this is house, and the beginning of this is just drums. So let's just keep it simple and just layer these two up. So what I'm gonna do is right around here, I'm going to create an automation node. And then what I'll do is I will drag these two kind of overlapping with each other. And from there, what you can do is you can create another automation node, and you can bring it all the way up to 174. And this is going to be a dramatic one, remember, because we're going from house music to drum and bass. But that's okay, because, you know, that's part of the example. So 173, okay, there we go, 174, nice. So let's give it a listen. Great, so that sounds pretty good. So what we'll do now, we want to use gain and our DJ effects mixer rack plugin that I've made to make it even more seamless. So I'm going to search DJ mixer, DJ channel effect, there we go. And I'm going to drop one on here, and you can see it brought up our little DJM filter from XFer Records. It's a great little sounding filter. It sounds just like the mixer, which is great. You can see here our DJ channel has our DJM filter. It has 3-band EQ. It has a utility plugin, and this utility plugin, you might be asking, well, why is there a utility plugin? Because that's what we're using for the gain. So I've got the gain mapped to a knob here, a macro knob. And then we've got delay, and we've got reverb. I also have mapped the gain low, mid, and high across here for the 3-band EQ. And you've got your delay, wet, and dry as well as the low pass filter and the resonance. So having them all in the macro area there is really nice, because you can just click them and tell Ableton where you want to start automating. I'll just show you some examples right here. So if you wanted to do a dramatic thing here with the filter, you could just click on the low pass, high pass, and we're gonna start filtering out, you know, maybe start filtering out right around here, and give it a little curve. Just hold Alt and click the line. And then we're probably gonna wanna take the gain down as well. So I clicked on the gain down there, and I can kind of ramp the gain down. And let's drag another DJ channel onto our drum and bass song. Close these little windows here. And let's click on gain on the drum and bass track. And I'm gonna ramp that in. And it should sound pretty good so far. So let's hear how that sounds. Nice, not too bad. Let's see what happens when we ramp the delay in, because that can be a cool effect. And I'm gonna go back to our drum and bass song, and I'm just gonna bring the gain down so it's really gone. It's not there, it's at minus infinite gain, and then ramps in a regular volume. So let's hear what that sounds like. A lot of times people will drop the bass out of the song that they're bringing in or taking out. I guess for this example, there's no bass on the incoming track, so we'll turn the bass down on the outgoing track, which is our house track. So let's hear how that sounds now. Cool. All right, so we have our two songs blended together pretty seamlessly, and now I'm going to record just myself talking over the intro and kind of pretend like I'm introducing a mix, and I'll show you how I blend the vocals in. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Scott Brio. Thank you for tuning into my mix. This is a house mix. I can't wait for you to hear it. All right, that was cheesy, but it'll work. So let's go back over here. Let's make sure that we are, now I'm hearing myself twice. So I'm gonna turn my mic off. There we go. But we've got the microphone audio recorded in here. Bring the gain down a little bit. It's clipping, but that's fine just for demonstration purposes. And let's go ahead and clean up the ends of our audio track. And that is good enough. What I like to do is, you could use a gate or, do volume automation, but what I find is things sound really good when you go in and you cut out all the spaces, so there's no extra air. It makes it sound really kind of radio-y. I guess that's the only way I know how to explain it. So in between these spaces here, I'm just gonna cut it out entirely and kind of ramp things in and out so there's no pops or clicks or anything. And what are we doing right there? Cool, so let's give that a listen. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Scott Brio. Thank you for tuning into my mix. This is a house mix. I can't wait for you to hear it. I probably should have said this is a house and drum and bass mix there, but whatever, doesn't matter. We can do some EQ, so do EQ 8. And I like to change this and take some of the low end out, maybe boost a little bit. I just know my microphone real well, so I'm just gonna boost the highs a little bit. And then from there, you can add a gate. And the gate's kind of optional because we already kind of gated things, but let's give it a listen. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Scott Brio. Thank you for tuning into my mix. This is a house mix. I can't wait for you to hear it. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Scott Brio. Thank you for tuning into my mix. This is a house mix. And now that we've got those, I just adjusted the gate so that it's not cutting off everything. But also, you might want to like turn warp off or turn your grid off here and just kind of align your vocals a little bit, your voice, so it sounds a little bit more natural. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Scott Brio. Thank you for tuning into my mix. Thank you for tuning into my mix. This is a house mix. I can't wait for you to hear it. I can't wait for you to hear it. Cool. So that sounds pretty good. Now that we've got our little vocal intro, what I'll do is I'll take all of my songs and hit Control G, throw them into a group, and now they're all in a group. And I'm gonna change this I'm gonna title it music, right? And from there you can add a compressor. And what you're going to do is hit this little down arrow and turn on sidechain. And let's change the sidechain input to microphone. We're going to be sidechaining the music with the vocal that we just recorded. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Scott Brio. Thank you for tuning into my mix. This is a house mix. I can't wait for you to hear it. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Scott Brio. Thank you for tuning into my mix. This is a house mix. And so what I do is I like to, you click over here onto these three little waveform thing. And, this is the default view, but I don't like it as much. So I click over to this one and you can see the waveform. And what I do is I'll generally take this, which is the threshold, and drag it down to just where the kind of the bottom of the vocals. And then from there, your ratio knob turns into how much ducking you're going to be doing, meaning how much is the music going to be dropping down every time you talk. And that makes it a really nice, easy way to sidechain. Just keeps things less confusing. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Scott Brio. Thank you for tuning into my mix. This is a house mix. I can't wait for you to hear it. Nice. So I think that sounds pretty good. So From there, what we can do is we can add a limiter, squeeze it a little bit, so we're just getting maybe a little bit of gain reduction just overall. And then you want to, kind of click through your mix and double check and make sure that nothing is, nothing is being squashed too much. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Scott Brio. Thank you for tuning into my mix. This is a house mix. I can't wait for you to hear it. Nice. There it is. That is essentially how I will make a DJ mix in Ableton Live. And you can do this for as many songs as you want, as many different genres as you want. But if you follow these same steps that I showed you here, it makes it really easy just to throw in whatever you want and just start mixing. So I hope this has been helpful. If you want to download the DJ Mixer channel effect, audio effect thing that I've made with the XFer Records DJM filter, just check the link below and it'll take you to my website and go to the store. I've got a bunch of free things, groove files and that sort of thing for downloads. So maybe check out some of the other ones. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful and if you've got any tips or recommendations yourself. Give me a like and subscribe, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace out.